Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into the single most important skill that honestly is the difference between surviving in the trading world and just blowing up your account. And listen, it's not some secret indicator, it's not a magic entry signal, it's way more fundamental than that. So let's just ask the big question right up front. What is the single biggest reason most new traders fail? I mean, they do the work, right? They study the charts, they learn the strategies, but they still end up losing money. Well, the answer is usually hiding in a place they completely forgot to look. And this right here is the heart of the issue. It's all about focus. See, a novice trader, they're completely obsessed with finding that perfect entry, right? They're chasing that one big win. But a professional, they're looking at the complete opposite. They are laser focused on managing their risk and, above all, protecting their capital. That one little shift in thinking, well, it changes everything. Which brings us to this crucial idea. Look, successful trading isn't about having some crystal ball to predict the future. It's about having a financial seatbelt, something that lets you survive the crash when you inevitably take a wrong turn. And that seatbelt, my friends, is called position sizing. It's the simple art of figuring out exactly how much you should risk on any given trade. All right, so let's get into it. Our first section is all about understanding why this skill is trading's unsung hero. And really, it all boils down to one simple concept. You have to prioritize survival over everything else. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? You can be right 9 times in a row, but if you get your sizing wrong on that 10th trade, you can wipe out all of those wins and then some. It's devastating. But if you get your sizing right, you can have a bunch of small losses and still be totally fine to keep trading. It gives you the stability, both emotionally and financially, to actually stay in the game. So that's the why. Now, how do we actually do it? How do we make this a real practical tool? In this next section, we're going to break down the super simple risk-first formula that you can and should use on every single trade you take. Okay, first things first, the risk amount. This is probably the most important number, and guess what? It's completely up to you. This is the exact dollar amount you decide you are willing to lose if this trade goes south. A really common rule of thumb is to risk no more than, say, 1% of your account on one trade. Just think of it as your absolute line in the sand. Second, you need your stop loss. Now, this isn't just some random price. Your stop loss is the specific price on the chart that proves your original idea for the trade was wrong. And here's the key. You define this before you ever click the buy or sell button. That way, emotion has nothing to do with it when it's time to get out of a losing position. And the last little piece of the puzzle is the pip value. A pip is just the tiniest standard move a price can make. So the pip value just tells you how much money that tiny little move is worth. It sounds complicated, but it's not. For example, if you're trading a standard lot of Euro USD, 1 pip is usually worth a nice round $10. And here's where the magic happens. We take those pieces, our fixed risk amount, our trade-specific stop loss, and we plug them into this simple formula. You just take your risk amount and divide it by your stop loss in pips times the pip value. And what comes out the other side is the exact position size you need to take to perfectly control your risk. Okay, theory is one thing, but let's make this real. Let's walk through a quick, super practical example to show you just how easy this is to use in the heat of the moment. So here's our scenario. Let's say we have a $50,000 account. We've decided we're comfortable risking 1% on any single trade. Our charting tells us that a good stop loss for this particular trade idea on the Euro USD is 25 pips away. And we know that for a standard lot, the pip value is $10. Okay, we have all our numbers. Let's do the math. Let's just walk through this nice and slow. Step 1, what's our actual risk amount in dollars? Well, 1% of $50,000 is $500. Easy enough. That's the most we can lose. Step 2, how much would we lose per standard lot if we get stopped out? That's 25 pips times $10 a pip, which is $250. Okay, now for step 3, we just divide our max risk by the risk per lot. So $500 divided by $250, and boom. The answer is 2.0 standard lots. See, that's the beauty of this. By trading exactly 2.0 lots, if our 25 pip stop loss gets hit, we know with absolute certainty that we will lose exactly $500, not a penny more. Our risk is now perfectly mathematically controlled. Of course, just knowing the formula, that's only half the battle. It's just as important to know what not to do. So let's talk about the common traps that make traders throw all this good discipline right out the window, usually at the worst possible time. Oh man, these are the classics. These are all driven by emotion. First, just using the same fixed lot size for every single trade, completely ignoring that your stop loss distance changes. Then there's revenge trading, where you get angry after a loss and double your size to try and win it back fast. A big one is ignoring correlations. You might have 5 trades that all move together, and suddenly your risk is 5 times what you thought. And finally, just getting lazy, rounding up your sizes, not doing the math every time. Each one of these is a fast track to disaster. All right, let's bring it all home and really nail down the most important lessons here. Think of these as the fundamental rules that, if you follow them, will become the solid foundation for a consistent, resilient trading career. So here's what you need to remember. First, make it a non-negotiable rule. You always calculate your position size before you enter a trade, period. Second, burn this into your brain. It's an inverse relationship. If your stop loss is wider, your position size must be smaller. If your stop is tighter, you can have a larger position. But the dollar risk, it stays exactly the same. And finally, for goodness sake, use a calculator. This is about discipline, not trying to be a mental math wizard. At the end of the day, just remember this. Position sizing is the linchpin. I love that word. It's the single piece that holds your entire risk management plan together. Without it, even the most brilliant strategy in the world is just waiting to fall apart. And that really brings us to the final, most important question you have to ask yourself. Is your main focus right now on finding the next big win? Or is it on ensuring you have the capital and the sanity to still be here playing the game a year from now? Your answer to that question will define your entire trading journey. Thanks so much for joining me.